I'm here with Marvin Broadwater Sr.
Yes, sir.
And Marvin, you're here supporting an event for voting. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
give me some, synopsis of what you're doing and what this event is all about?
Well, first of all, can I tell you why I'm doing it?
Yes.
And then I'll tell you what we're doing. There's a guy by the name of Primus King here in Columbus, Georgia. In 1944, July 15, 1944, he was a registered voter. And he voted in the primary, but then when it came to the runoff, he went down to the courthouse to vote, and they told him he couldn't vote. So he sued the state of Georgia. Now that's in 1945, for you as an African-American man to sue the state, that took a lot of courage because his family got threats, he got threats. So the least that we can do, I think, in this time is support voters. So everyone is voting early. This is a coalition of organizations throughout the Columbus area, civic and social organizations. Urban League, NAACP, the Divine Nine, all the fraternities and sorority. We've just gotten together, 100 women on the move, black women on the move in Columbus area. We've gotten together to just honor and recognize voters, people that come out and vote. I believe in the adage that if you do not use it, we're going to lose it. So it's important to recognize we had some first-time voters today. And one of them was 20, so that means that 2 years she didn't vote. So we've got to recognize that. I'm passionate about this, passionate about voting. When it comes to doing things for voters, I don't have a problem doing it, spending time, energy, or funds. But my generation, I came from the Jim Crow era. So I saw a lot of Jim Crow in the South. And I remember those times when my dad went to vote, he was scared and nervous. But now look at this now. People are just coming out in droves to vote, even during COVID-19. So voting, it has to mean something to us. I don't care who you vote for. That's not my objective here. Our objective here is to honor and recognize voters. And it's a celebratory day to try to recognize these voters. That's what we're doing. And it's very important.
So what message are you sending through your efforts to get people to vote and for you to vote personally? Is there a singular message?
Well, why did you say that? I was the very first one to vote in Muskogee County this year. I got here at 4 o'clock, no one in line, got my chair, my cup of coffee, my newspaper, and just waited. I waited for 3 hours to vote. And then some people came at 9 o'clock. They had to wait 4 or 5 hours. Voting early is the key. We cannot wait until November 3rd. The election will be over with on November 3rd, whoever wins. But I'm telling you, folks, people, the election will be over with. The message that I'm sending is that I told the first-time voter today, I said, when you become my age, it will be imperative and important for you to do the same thing for somebody else. So I'm hoping that somebody that's in the next generation see my efforts, see the efforts of this collaboration, this coalition of people behind me. I hope that they see that and then they pass it on to the next generation. My generation to the generation following me, somewhere I think things got lost. So, I made a commitment to my community to try to do whatever I can to get people to vote, to empower people to vote. That's the key, empowering. We're going to come out with some new stuff. This organization, I think, is about to flourish. It comes next on November 3rd. We're having a big mobilization effort because that's where we need to concentrate after voting. It ends on Friday, so October 30th it ends. So now we will concentrate on November 3rd to get people out. So these organizations have volunteered their time and effort and service to take people to the polls because that's crucial too. For whatever reason, sometimes people just wait to the last minute. But we just hope and pray that on that day that there are no long lines. So hopefully we try to get everybody out today.
What do you think is missing? Do you think that there's something missing in Columbus when it comes to
Yeah.
the voting process?
I can be honest
voting?
with you. I can be honest with you. One of the reasons I'm so proud of these folks that are behind me now is that we got together. And I've been here 17 years. I'm a transplant, the military sent me in, I'm retired here. But Columbus is my home now. The thing that I see now, a lot of organizations want to operate in their own silos, in their own foxholes. And every organization that I know of, from 100 Black Men to the fraternity sororities, every organization has a mandate to empower the people to vote, be it education, awareness, or mobilization. But that's what's missing here. We don't have a coalition of people working together. Everyone wants to do their own thing. Well, I want to go here, I want to go. But if we all, and I'll give you a prime example. If on November 3rd, these organizations have said and committed to going into the communities at certain precincts, spending some of their own money out of their pockets to give back to those voters that are standing in line. Some of those voters on November 3rd, when the computers go awry or have errors, you got to stand in line. So we don't want you to get out of line. We wish that you would vote early. But that's what's missing, just not working together. This coalition behind me, this project has taken a few weeks to put together, but now it's blossoming. We also are over at Shirley B. Winston off of Steam Mill Road, their rec center, that polling site there. Doing the exact same thing here. There's a food truck over there. They're doing the same thing. They're feeding people, recognizing voters. As you can see from the interviews, that's what we're supposed to do.
So last thing.
Yes, sir.
What needs to happen after the election?
Okay, good point. Most people, it's documented statistically, once you vote the first time, you don't come back for a runoff. It's about 30% that come back out of 100% of the voters that voted during the primary or voted during the election. But when you have runoffs, they don't come back. So what's important after the election? Voter registration cannot stop, because every month, every day, someone more than likely in your town turns 18. That's why voting registration can never stop. Voter registration has to continue. Not after you do the voter registration, you must be able to tell people about the ballot. That's the education part of it. And then third is the mobilization. You've got to continue to call people to remind them. Voting is a privilege, but all privileges can be taken away if you don't use them. So I think that after this election is over with, we have to continue to work together on all issues. All issues. That's what it's going to take to get us to the next level.
So should we encourage parents, the adults in the family, to make sure that 18-year-old register?
Correct.
Should that become part of the new movement in the community to make sure that we're just that much smarter about the voting process to where that becomes a legacy?
Well, here's the thing. And I'll give you my story to try to help you out a little bit on this. I couldn't wait to vote. The reason for that is my mother took me from the time that I was 8 years old until I was 18 to vote. Every election, if we had to stand in line, she brought snacks for me. We stood in line. And I can remember her specifically saying, she's 99 now, but I can remember her specifically saying, it's too important. Too many people have died. Too many people have fought for this. And that's why we do it. So we've got to continue to do that. That's my story. And that's why I continue to try to, you can't wait till the child gets 17. You've got to teach this in the child. The day came for me to vote. That was one of the proudest days of my life, because I had seen my mother do it year after year. And she said, you always got to go back to the polls when there's a runoff. And she would make me go with her. So as parents, you can't wait till they're 18, because if they won't have a sense at that time of how important it is. But when you start, it says start as a child. Train them up just like in the church. Train them as a child. They'll never fade away from it. They'll never go away from it. So that would be my thing, to tell the parents to inform the child as early as they can. Take them with you. Tell them the importance. Don't wait till they're 18, because when you're 18, you got your own way of thinking. But the day I turned 18, I couldn't wait to go vote. And that was probably one of the most proudest moments of my life, the first time I voted.
Well, sir, I really appreciate all of your input,
Yes, sir.
your insight,
Yes, sir.
your leadership,
Yes, sir.
your experience,
Yes, sir.
your mentoring,
Yes, sir.
all that you are doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I wish you the best,
Yes, sir.
and I'm definitely on board.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
You have a
much.
great
God
day.
bless you.
God bless you too.
All right. Thank you.